So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of April 8th, 2024. And just so everyone knows, members of the public can be present in the council chambers during the meeting. And the webinar will be recorded and published to the city's YouTube site. So the first item on the agenda tonight is the adoption of the agenda. And can I have someone make that motion, please? Councillor Butler. Second, Councillor Martin, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. And we have one delegation here tonight, and that is the Trail Little League. And they are here to give us an update on some exciting news that they have.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you all for having us tonight. I want to introduce myself. My name is Lisa Babcock, and I'm the treasurer of Trail Little League. And with me tonight is Kathleen Knock, and she is the registrar and our secretary. We have Trina Davis. She is our concession manager. Andy Davis, he is our equipment director, and we have Chris Kissick, our grounds crew. First off tonight, we really want to say thank you to the City of Trail for extending your TRP to the Roslyn residents last year. We've really seen an increase in Roslyn registrations this year, so that's really great for our program. In 2024, we have the provincials coming, and then in 2026, we have the Canadians coming. So this year is our 71st year, or sorry, 26 and 28, I apologize. This is our 71st year of Little League in Trail. And so when the provincials come in 2026, it'll be our 73rd year, and then the 75th year is the Canadians. So we're super excited for that. We have been trying to get the Canadians for a number of years, and then COVID did hit. So we actually have funds that we have set aside for the Canadians, around $45,000 right now in reserve, that we are able to put forward and start using for the Canadians. We also have Kathleen. She's going to come talk about leveraging those funds and the grants to put towards that. What we ask also is that we're going to know when we get the committee together for the Canadians, we are going to need people representation from the City of Trail to be liaisons on that committee. Did I miss anything? What else? Pretty good.
That's great. Exciting news.
Yeah, very exciting news. So yeah, Kathleen, you want to come up?
Okay. I think Chris is going to go first.
Okay.
He's going to talk a little bit about the field, and then I'll talk about how we can.
Thank you guys for having me here. My name is Chris Kissick. We have a great opportunity here. Obviously, our field is in need of a lot of work. If I invite you guys to go out there and check it out, first thing you'll notice is the trees in the outfield, they're starting to get old and need to be taken care of right away. And the second thing you'll notice is the field, the playing field is quite uneven. As you guys might know, it was built on an old dump. So the settling and everything is in need of work, right? So we're hosting a world-class tournament that we would like to see some feasibility studies and kind of direction from you guys and the city of which way to go to help us. Funding is a whole nother thing, but that's what I have so far. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having us this evening. So as Lisa said, we have just over $45,000 to leverage towards improvements to the park over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years. Obviously, the park is owned by the city, and we would like to utilize that money to leverage additional funding in order to, obviously within the city's parameter, you have access to a lot more funding opportunities in recreation, sports tourism, and economic development than we do as a community nonprofit. So we would really like to explore building those opportunities. It could happen through the specific Canadians Governance Council that we'll be establishing shortly. But that's sort of the approach we want to take. We want to take this $45,000 and whatever else we can fundraise over the next 3 years and really use that money to upgrade the park, as Chris was saying. Yeah, but it's going to be a fantastic opportunity. Lots of sports tourism, people coming in, spending their money in Trail. And really, we have 71 years of baseball history here in Trail, and we really want to showcase that. So there'll be lots of media coming. We have to, provide space at the park for them to have their equipment. Obviously, parking is an issue in some instances, but I think with some good creative ambition, we can get some solutions in place. But that's the overarching things that we're working with, but we're really excited to bring this forward to you today and share that good news. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Go ahead, Councilor.
For those two events that you mentioned,
Mhm.
are they held just at Andy Gillespie Park, or do you guys also use the other one?
No, just any
Just
glass.
if they're all.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not sure that, Chris?
I'm not sure, for the games, we just need one field to play on. The other field will need for practice and warming up for the other teams.
And how many teams would be coming for either event? Like how many?
Expert here.
Well, not really an expert, I think for the Canadians is 10,
Yeah.
and provincials, I think is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Each
Trail gets a
kid would
five.
have, like, how many, 10, 15?
15?
12 to 15?
Yeah.
15 on each
Yeah.
team, plus
There'll be,
parents,
I think
families,
it's 12, 13 players and then 3 or 4 coaches, so.
minimum 15 plus
Yeah.
their families.
Yeah.
Times
And
10.
Yeah.
And Trail gets a bye because it's here, so the Trail team is automatically in the Canadians.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's been great for our registration numbers as well. We've seen a little bit of an uptick as people are projecting having their kids be able to be part of this really exciting celebration of baseball. Yeah.
Great. And what's the length of time that it'll be here, per, tournament?
I think
Like in
the,
weeks or days or?
the provincials, I believe, is a week and Canadians are 9 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, Lisa, the TRP,
Mhm.
what do you think the difference is in the numbers, since that came into effect for, players registering?
85%.
Yeah.
Kathleen's our registrar, so she knows the numbers better than me,
It's
but
been
yes.
great. It's been great.
85%?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
It's fantastic. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
You know?
Well, we're excited about this tournament, both of them actually. I just, I think it's just going to be great for our community, so, yeah, looking forward to working with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Any other comments from council or questions or? Council Johnson?
Can you walk us through like the nomination process that you went through to be able to host them here?
Well, none of us were on the board at the time. It's a relatively transient board, right? You know, you're there for as long as your kids pretty much are through Little League. But there was a major application put forward about 5-6 years
6 years
ago.
ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there is a presentation, I think, did we send it in?
Yeah.
The PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know Steve Robinson and Scott Wallace they were on the board back then. They prepared that and then we originally wanted, we were trying to get it for this year, I believe it was, and then COVID hit. And so then that pushed everything back. So originally this was the year, just because I remember Brandon was gonna be in his second year of majors.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but a lot of work went into it back then.
And they say that this might be the last tournament of this size in a rural and remote community. And so there'll be a real focus on that, especially in the media communication. I think we have a lot of opportunity to showcase the home of champions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's gonna be exciting and that's the angle that we'll be working towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for having us this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tonight.
We're excited.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the adoption of minutes, Governance and Operations Committee meeting, the regular council meeting, and the Governance and Operations Committee meeting of April 3rd, 2024. And the recommendations is before you, and that is that the minutes of the Governance and Operations Committee meeting and the regular council meeting, both held March 25th, 2024, and the Governance and Operations Committee meeting held April 3rd, 2024, be adopted as circulated. Council Benson moved it, seconder, Council Butler. Any questions or comments about the minutes? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. And the next item on the agenda is the adoption of the Governance and Operations Committee recommendations. And the recommendations that are following will be, motions will be considered individually. So the first one is that council directs staff to enter into a 2024 one-year funding agreement with Community Futures South Kootenai by providing financial support in the amount of $17,264. Is there someone that, Councilor Cashel, Councilor Wilson? All those in
I
favor?
don't know, just a correction, it's $17,268, not 64.
268?
Yes.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. All those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. Number two, that council directs staff to enter into 2023 one-year funding agreement with the Lower Columbia Community Development Team Society by providing financial support in the amount of $100,663. Councilor Martin, Councilor Benson, those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. And that council, and the third one would be that council directs staff to enter into a 2024 one-year funding agreement with the Trail and District Chamber of Commerce by providing financial support in the amount of $34,130. Councilor Butler, thank you. Councilor Hanson, thank you. Seconder. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. So just following this, I wanted to take an opportunity here to introduce a motion that goes with these recommendations. And the motion is that staff invite the Trail and District Chamber of Commerce, the Lower Community Development Team, and the Community Futures South Kootenai to attend a working meeting with council to discuss the potential collaboration on projects, initiatives, and other opportunities to support and enhance economic development in the city of Trail and the region. So can I have someone second that, please? Councilor Wilson, thank you. Any questions or comments on that? I mean, we basically talked about it when we were discussing these funding opportunities. And all three of those groups said they were interested in collaborating with us. And so I hope that this is an opportunity for us to get that to happen. So any other questions or comments? No? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you, carried unanimously. And then we have public question period, and I see no one here. So I will move on to communications. Item number 6 is a proclamation. And the proclamation is the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia. And the recommendation, Councilor Benson, thank you. Councilor Butler, second it? Councilor Butler?
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect. All those in favor? Thank you. And I just wanted to make a recommendation here as well, sorry Sandy, but I don't know if we have a flag to fly, but I'm just wondering if we could light the bridge up in rainbow lights. Do I have to make a motion for it? No? Okay. Okay. On to the excuse me, committee reports, and Councilor Benson first.
Thank you, Dorset. So for the Trail Ambassador Program, on April 4th, I was a judge at their knowledge evening. The 6 candidates prepared a knowledge board and verbal presentation on a topic of their choice. And judges reviewed and asked questions of them. We were treated to a really good evening. We learned about the Chinese community of Trail and its origins, the United Steelworkers Local 480, Curlian Trail and the Frenchie de Mooring, the Trail Ambassador Program organs, the trial of Mary Jane Hanna, Trail's first female landowner, very juicy, and the P9 Tower and involvement in the Manhattan Project. So these boards are all on display at the Riverfront Center. They'll be up until pageant night, which is on May 10th during Sort of City Days. The Ambassador Committee has also added an award this year to the pageant in memory of former councillor Eleanor Gafflin Robinson, who was a great supporter of the program over the many years. for Silver City Days, 29 days. Okay. A couple of new items that we're adding this year. So on Thursday, we're having something called Silver City Night. So the Silver City Days Committee is partnering with Black Crescent Chamber of Commerce for a shopping event downtown. More details to come. The firefighters, Local 941, are all ready for the fireworks and parade, and the application form for the parade is on our Silver City Days website, so feel free to go out to the website and sign up for the parade. And I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Martin for joining the team for the parade and fireworks from a safety perspective. I'm also pleased to announce that the fun run is back on, and I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Wilson for spearheading this effort. And we'll have more information communicated on this soon.
I've signed you all up.
It's a slow drop.
Yeah.
We're also introducing something at Family Day that it's a community mural project, where the community can participate and paint a mural. It's like paint by numbers, so don't be scared. Everything will be laid out. You just have a chance to paint away. And we have a call out for volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering for Silver City Days or know someone that is, please go to the Silver City Days website and fill out an application, because the more volunteers, the better. That is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Benson. Any questions? No? Okay. Councillor Butler.
No report this evening, but I do want to say a big thank you to Councillor Benson for all the hard work that's going into, and staff that's going into the Silver City Days. They've been fantastic.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Councillor Cashel.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. Met with Dan Rodley and Keith Smythe on March 26th and again on April 3rd. And Mr. Smythe is kind of driving the bus on this one. He's created a draft of new terms of reference for the communities in bloom. That draft will be presented this Wednesday to the committee. And then following input from them, there might be some tweaks necessary. It's going to come to you guys, Mayor and Council and staff for your eyes, and there will be accompanying attachment as well with, how we can work together moving forward with the new terms of reference. And that is my report, Mayor Jones. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Cashel. Just one question, the greenhouses that you guys, that you got from the Columbia Greenhouse,
Yes.
are you using that for plants this year, or will it only be available next year?
This year and next year. It's up and covered, and I had no part in that, but Dan Rodley mustered together a group of volunteers and got that puppy up. So, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Hanson. Oh, sorry, Councillor
Just
Benson.
a comment that I've started to see the flowers up around town, specifically the daffodils, and just wanted to pass on my acknowledgement that it started to look really good.
Thank you. I'll pass that on to the committee.
Okay. Councillor Hanson.
Small report today. It attended the Synax workshop on April 3rd with the rest of council. And then had a very exciting meeting. The executive director of Hope Air reached out, and she wants to work with the city to promote Hope Air in the region. And so Hope Air helps people with financial challenges to get to their medical appointments. It was one of the announcements for cancer treatment in September at UBCM. And so they want to work with trying to help people in our region and rural community get to their appointments in Vancouver and other areas. So there's going to be a presentation coming soon to council, and we are going to work with her and see what opportunities we can promote to help out our community. Awesome. Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Councillor.
I just wanted to say, I don't have a question, but just good work on the networking on that, Councillor Hanson. Really appreciate that. That's really good news. Thank you. That's all, Mayor Jones. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. On behalf of council, I attended the following meetings on March 27th, an RDKB Policy and Personnel Committee meeting via Teams. where we reviewed changes to the RDKB policy on records management as it had not been updated since it was adopted in 2021. Excuse me. On March 27th, I attended a West Kootenay Boundary Regional District Hospital Board meeting via Teams. We reviewed items in the 2024 budget to determine the annual taxation request. On March 28th, and attended an RDKB board meeting in Trail, reviewed various committee minutes. Presentation by Vicky G on the Boundary Community Ventures Association. We renewed the 2024 RDKB membership with UBCM. And we reviewed various grant and aid requests, and the board adopted the RDKB 5-year financial plan, which happens at the end of March every year, which Mr. McClure is thankful for. On April 2nd, attended a TCAT meeting. I think Councillor Butler was the only one who was on there with the rest of council. They were very happy with the city funding decision. They had a question about what would happen with the in-house population who are not registered with the shelter, and basically we said that was going to be determined as time went on. We didn't have any specific answers for them. On April 3rd, with Mayor Jones' council and staff, attended the SNIAX workshop, which was held in the committee room. And on April the 5th, along with staff, I attended my first ever Silver City Days committee meeting. Luke Russell, a representative from the fire department, also attended and updated everyone on the status of the parade and fireworks. That's it for my report.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Any questions? Councillor Wilson?
Nothing to report, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Wilson. Before I get started on my report, I do want to really thank all the councillors for the work that they're doing in the community, and it's just so good to see you out there and being a part of what's happening out there. I think it's really important for the community to see that, and I certainly appreciate it as well. I have a very short report because I was out of office for a few days visiting family up in Edmonton. I took a quick trip up there, but I just wanted to make sure that the community knows about the 2024 West Kootenay Homeless Response Summit that is coming up on April 29th and 30th. It is being held at the Columba Lodge this year on Roslyn Avenue. And the theme for it is inspiring change, building community solutions together. So it's a 2-day event. On Monday night, there will be a dinner, and we have a special speaker coming in to speak that night, and it is Guy Vallatella, and he is a advocate on speaking out for people who are battling addiction and homelessness. And he's been doing that for 3 decades. And he speaks from his own personal journey, and he will share invaluable insights into what strategies proved effective and which ones didn't work in breaking free from the cycle of addiction. And he currently works at Vancouver Coastal Health and with the Ministry of Health and Addiction and the BC Centre of Substance Use. And he has first-hand experiences. He strives to make meaningful change in attitudes toward harm reduction and homelessness. He will also be speaking up at the school. He's got some time up there to speak to the J. Lloyd Crow students. And then he will also be participating, I believe, in the workshop on Tuesday. So I just wanted to make sure that the community knew about that. They have to register, and I believe you have to go online to register. And I'm sorry, I don't have the address for registering here. But if you do phone City Hall, I'm sure we could get the address for the registrations. I think it's gonna be a really good workshop, and I hope that people can attend and hear what he has to say and what the workshop's all about. And also, we talked a little bit earlier about funding coming from the federal government, and I had printed it off but left it in the office downstairs, but there is a new $6 billion Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund that the federal government is bringing forward to accelerate housing construction. And with $1 billion of that dedicated towards urgent family infrastructure needs, as well as $400 million to top up the Housing Accelerator Fund. Also an increase in the federal financing for the construction of rental buildings, rental housing, consisting of $50 million top up of the apartment construction loan program. A new $1.5 billion Canada Rental Protection Fund to help nonprofits acquire and protect affordable rental housing. And the announcement of a modernized housing design catalog to standardize home blueprints, along with $50 million in home building technology. And the innovation fund that will seek to leverage $150 million to the private sector to support innovative housing technology. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to access some of that funding somehow, and it looks like a good start. It's, you know, I don't know how they are sending that money out to provinces, but we'll be definitely looking into that. So some exciting news for housing, and I know that the provincial government is also putting something out soon about housing in BC. So we've got some work being done there. I don't have anything else to report at this time, so I'm open to questions if council has any. No? Okay, thank you.
Mayor Jones, I just wanted to make note, if I didn't mention, Councillor Butler was also in attendance at the meeting with Robert, and he was very great, providing some insight and background information to the executive director as well, so.
Thank you. The consent agenda, we have 3 items on the consent agenda to receive for information. Councillor Butler, Councillor Benson. All those in favor? Thank you. Any new business tonight? Councillor Hanson.
As we are all aware that Bill 34, the Restricting Public Consumption of Legal Substances Act, received a court injunction that was set to expire at the end of last month, and now it is extended until June. I would like to ensure that the province knows that we as a council support the restriction of public consumption of illegal substances. Not for contravening Health Canada's exemption of controlled drugs and substances act and take away from the good that original legislation was meant for, but to ensure the safety and freedom of enjoyment of our parks and public spaces for everyone, not just our vulnerable population. We want our downtown to be a safe and thriving environment, and limiting open drug use near entrances to buildings and businesses is no different than a smoking bylaw. In our community, the original legislation has had an adverse effect on drug consumption and overdoses, seeing an uptake in overdoses in our community since this was introduced, and has limited our drug trafficking convictions. The tools provided by Bill 34 assists the RCMP in doing their jobs, as opposed to them not being able to enforce them. For this, I'm asking for council support in sending a letter to the above effect to the Premier Eby, Minister of Public Safety Mike Farnsworth, Minister of Health, and the Ministry of Mental Health and Addictions.
Councillor Cashel, are you seconding that?
That's your motion? Yeah, I'll second that motion for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, department reports. Item number 10, we have the bylaw enforcement department, March 20th, and recommendation that this report be received for information. Councillor Wilson, Councillor Hanson, all those in favor? Carried. But I do have a quick question. Sorry. I just realized I had it off here. I'm in the report, the traffic bylaw violations issued year to date. That number just seems huge right now. 2,813.
They have a very efficient work.
I was gonna say efficiency.
Yeah.
Your worship to the council, yes, our new bylaw enforcement officer who issues those tickets is doing an exemplary job and he's bringing in some really good funds. We really appreciate how hard he's working. Maybe the ladies at the front don't appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a huge job. I was like, holy, that's pretty amazing. But you're right, he's doing some good work out there. But thank you for that, Ms. Butler. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Oh, I was, sorry, I was
Oh,
just going
sorry.
to comment to the bylaw. I just wanted to say how excited I am that we've had 9 new business licenses issued and we're only in April. So that's great for our community, new business licenses, as well as obviously some pending because we've said 15 apply for. So that's great, seeing new business in the area.
That's great, thanks for pointing that out. It's good to notice that. Okay, any other questions or comments? So the next item on the agenda is adjournment. Councilor Benson, Councilor Cashel. All those in favor? Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.